Hey everyone, this is Tammy with New Age Fitness. I am making a video specifically today for anyone who is struggling with exercise. If you already enjoy exercise, understand the benefits, come to my class all the time, then you're wasting your time. Go ahead and turn on this video, do something more constructive. For the rest of you, I want to say first of all, I know you. I know where you are right now because I've been there. I was there the first 30 years of my life, and sometimes I find myself slipping back there now, and I have to remind myself and reel myself back in of why I exercise, because for some of us it can be extremely uncomfortable. And I think for anybody it's uncomfortable, but I think it's more psychologically uncomfortable for some of us. That I know in the beginning I would almost feel panicky when I would start to get a little winded. And it doesn't help if you have anxiety, which I've definitely found a correlation between that and myself and that and a lot of my clients. People who are naturally anxious tend to, experience more anxiety when they're in this heightened state where everything is just starting to fire and the blood's pumping and the breath feels short and your lungs start to constrict, and I get it. But what I want to talk about is what's on the other side of that. We already know all the physical benefits. You can find like 50 million, billion videos about that. So I'm not going to talk about that. And I'm sure you can find some other videos about what I am going to talk about, but I'm going to put my spin on it. And that's the psychological benefits. And I've told people for a lot of years that exercise is my Prozac. And I would know because I've literally been on Prozac in my life. And it's actually better than Prozac without all the negative side effects. That's what really started to change my relationship with exercise, when I realized how it affected how I looked at my life, how I looked at the world, and ironically enough, how it calmed my anxiety once I pushed through that barrier where everything started to freak me out a little bit. What's on the other side is, it's worth it, I promise you. I started really trying to dedicate myself to exercise in my early 30s, right after I had my son. And I had postpartum depression. I had this infant 24/7. I took him to work with me. I mean, he was with me all the time, and I was sleep deprived. And I started to notice, first on a subconscious level, but then on a very conscious level, that when I would exercise, everything would just feel a little better for a while. And a pivotal moment was when my son was about 1 year old and I was getting ready to do my workout. I was doing this little program I was trying to stick with, and I got some devastating news right before I was about to start my workout. And I thought, my first instinct was, I'm not going to work out. I'm just going to eat what I want because life is too stressful right now to think about doing this. I'll do this later. And then I thought, no, that's going to make everything so much worse. I can't control this thing that just happened to me, but I can control if I work out, and I can control what I put in my body. And I decided to work out anyway. And the problem did not go away at the end of my workout, but my ability to cope with that problem was much better. It was dramatically improved. And that was the first time on an acutely conscious level that I realized how exercise helped me psychologically. And since then, I've gone through very challenging things in my life over and over again. And that's what I keep turning to, is exercise. And this morning, this is why I'm inspired to do this today. I was a shaky, anxious mess. And I was starting to ruminate in all my thoughts and go into a tailspin and think about all these things that at the moment seemed so huge and insurmountable. And I had this hour before I had to actually start working after I dropped my kids at school. And I decided to go into work early and to, as my husband puts it, make it hurt. Or as my son says, embrace the suck. And that's what I did. I thought, I am going to work out as hard as I possibly can until I just can't think about anything else. And I know if you're sitting there not where I am, you're like, okay, this does not apply to me. I promise you, I promise you, it does. When I got done with my workout, and this is not always going to happen because some problems really are huge and real, but I realized that these problems were nothing. They were nothing in the grand scheme of things. And had I not made it hurt, my whole day would have been distracted and anxious and probably horrible. But it really gave me perspective on what's important. And even if I would have gotten done with the workout and realized my problems were as huge as they felt, I would have been able to deal with them better. I would have been at peace. The more that we push ourselves and challenge ourselves, yes, there are endorphins and all those chemical reasons why we feel better, but I wholeheartedly believe that every time we raise the bar and we challenge ourselves a little bit more and ask a little bit more out of ourselves, we feel like we can do anything when we're done. And this doesn't just apply to exercise, but exercise is just this perfect combo of everything, of the endorphins, of knowing we're doing something good to improve our physical health. So it's a nice combo. But we can get this in other areas of life when we set the bar a little higher, move it out a little bit more, and really challenge ourselves. It makes the next thing, whatever the next thing is, the next workout, the next problem, the next whatever, it makes us more equipped to deal with it. So I want to encourage you, if you are where I was for many years, where I still find myself at times, I will probably go back and watch this video myself sometimes to remind myself of this, because when you're in the thick of it and you feel stuck, it's so hard, and apathetic, it's so hard to think about getting up and working out. Like, are you freaking kidding me? But I promise you, start small, get out, take a walk, do something to move your body, and just pay attention to how you psychologically shift. And who knows, one day you might be in here making it hurt with me.